everybody. I'm excited to go on here today and talk to you guys about our new topic for Webinar Wednesday. So I'm just going to wait a little while here for you guys to pop in and just introduce myself. So each week here we're going to be doing a different topic for Webinar Wednesday where you're getting free training from myself and right here on social media for you guys. So my name is Bethany and I am the nutritional consultant and owner of Nutritious&Delicious. And if you're watching here live today, ask a question. Ask me what's going on. Is there something that is bothering you about like the eating in your life right now? So this is a very popular topic for people because it usually has to do with emotions, and the nighttime seems to be the worst for a lot of people. So this is the topic today, is why am I overeating at nighttime? So I wanted to give you guys some helpful suggestions here to understand yourself and why you actually may be overindulging at nighttime and how to actually curb the cravings and the habits long term for yourself. So let's get started. So one of the main reasons here that people usually are overeating at nighttime is kind of shocking, but you may actually not be eating enough. Now, what I mean by this is saying that when you're eating throughout your day, from when you wake up until the evening, there's usually a bit of a scenario. So this is what I typically hear, is that people wake up and they don't have breakfast first thing off, and they end up having coffee for the first thing in the morning. And that's fine, but coffee actually suppresses your appetite. And then what's happening is you're not really hungry until lunchtime. And usually people are famished by then and they're kind of eating whatever is around. They'll go to a restaurant and they'll buy something there, and usually those portions are overindulging as well. And then what happens is most people don't have a snack, and then they'll go home and they'll be famished for dinner. So instead of having a snack, you're now trying to make dinner or go grocery shopping when you're extremely hungry, and that's not really a good idea. So what happens is most people go to the pantry or the fridge and then they start kind of just eating whatever they can get their hands on, which isn't a great thing because most people don't usually have things set up for themselves for success. Most people just eat out of a box or whatever's available, like last night's dinner or takeout, anything that's sitting in the fridge. So what's happening in this scenario here is that you're not getting enough nutrients into your system and your body is starved for the nutrients, but it's getting a lot of calories. So this is where people are eating on the run all the time and they're just kind of having those mindless foods, and there's not enough nutrients in the plan for them as well. So number two, this scenario rolls into the first problem here. This goes into like your blood sugar levels throughout the day. So starting your day with the coffee, like I was talking about, it actually is setting your body up for a bit of a crash. So what usually happens is you're going to have the coffee is going to suppress your appetite. And then what you're going to end up doing is that you're filling your body later on with white flour products, because most people tend to have a very high carbohydrate level in their diet versus having protein. So a lot of people are eating a lot of white flour products, and that spikes the insulin level even more so throughout their day. And then what happens is you get to about the 3 to 5 p.m. mark in your day, and it's like you just crash, right? Like your energy's gone. And that's usually when most people are trying to go and work out at the gym, and they're wondering like, why do I not have any energy? But it's not the best time to go work out. If anything, if you want to go work out, I would always suggest the morning if you can kind of work it around your work schedule or your kids. What I'm saying here is with the white flour, like I said, is that it's crashing you for your 3 to 5 p.m. So what you do is you get home or you go through a drive-through and you're actually looking for more of a hit. So you're looking for more caffeine, you're looking for simple sugars, white flour products that's going to spike your insulin levels up again, right? And that's exactly what you keep doing on a regular basis. So your body's going through this like up and down spike with your blood sugar levels, right? Now, where you can alter this is actually putting in some healthy protein and healthy fats into this scenario here. So protein should be eaten at least with most meals if you can, because most people, honestly, it's hard to get them to eat protein enough in their day. You don't need much, but you just need a little bit throughout your day. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're keeping your blood sugars stable with this. So the whole point of the protein and the healthy fat with the food that you're eating is going to help keep your blood sugar stable, so you're not having these major crashes throughout your day, because when you have these crashes, that's when you're overcompensating and you're looking for more of a fix. Now, this is why it's difficult in the evening, because most people have kind of played around with their blood sugar levels all day, and you get to the end of the day and you're just crashed completely. So a lot of people actually need more healthy fat as well. This one is big for people who are doing keto currently. Like, healthy fat is like 60% of a keto diet most people are doing, or a keto plan. But what you want to have for the healthy fats, if you're going to add these into your daily foods as well, is things like avocados, cashews, there's macadamia nuts, coconut oil, hemp seeds, ground flax, salmon, sardines, all that kind of good stuff. Now, I usually suggest a high healthy fat for people, because a lot of people, I find when I deal with this, is they have a lot of anxiety, and there's a lot of people that have depression. Being in Canada here, we don't get a lot of vitamin D, so naturally a lot of people are lacking vitamin D, and vitamin D also plays a role in helping your body not feel so down and moody, right? So I do suggest, if you are somebody that typically suffers more with like anxiety, or like crashes throughout your day in like your blood sugar levels, and you know, if you're pretty depressed as well, and you kind of feel lethargic all the time, I probably would look at your diet and say you probably have way too many carbohydrates going on, and let's incorporate more healthy fat. Let's incorporate more of the protein in there as well. Now, the best way to avoid the night binging is actually to prepare yourself in advance. So what you want to be doing is setting yourself up for success. So what you're going to do at the beginning of the day is you're going to have everything already done for you. So you're actually saving yourself time in the long term here. So if you're planning out some of your food, like putting things in containers, at least putting a little bit of chicken in there. Like, say if you're somebody that enjoys more of a sweet, I would say do like a bit of like chicken and apple, like for an example, or hummus and vegetables if you don't like, you know, sweet stuff in the morning. Just gear it towards how you eat yourself. Don't try and force yourself to eat something that you're not going to eat, right? Like, you want to get yourself into the habit of eating the foods that you actually enjoy, and that takes a little bit of experimenting with like fruits and vegetables, and maybe just adding in like a fruit or veggie like once a week, just to see if you actually like it. So waking up and having a little bit of breakfast, like I said, this is where a lot of people tell me like, I'm not a breakfast person, like I like to just have my morning coffee. That's great, but what's happening is if you have your coffee, it's suppressing your appetite. That's why you don't want to eat. Usually I would say try and have your breakfast first thing, even if you're not hungry yet, because you want to break the fast of doing that overnight, and then you're going to actually get your metabolism going already, and then have the coffee after that, because it will help you between sort of the breakfast and lunchtime, so you're not feeling so hungry and deprived if you are kind of working throughout your day and things like that, and you know, you kind of get sidetracked. Now, I would say with that, you could do something really simple, because I have another side of it where people say like, I don't have time in the morning, I'm getting the kids to school, or I'm, you know, going to work really early. Most people are doing this, but what I do say is if that's the case, then you should be planning your foods ahead of time, even more so then, because if you're on the go, I would say have a protein shake in the car for yourself. In the fridge, it's all ready to go. You could do trail mix and bring that in the car. Just grab an apple, grab a banana, bring a cheese stick with you, that's a little bit of healthy fat, or even have like sliced avocado ready to go. So things like that in place for yourself, because if it's not in place, you're not going to eat it. And then what usually happens is people drive to, you know, the coffee places like Starbucks and all that, and then it's a muffin, or it's a, you know, Tim's, you know, bacon egger and all that kind of stuff, and you don't think they have a lot of calories and things like that. They do, and you would be actually shocked if you made these things at home. They're so much healthier, but you're using the same ingredients. It's just the way they cook them, that's why. So with that as well, you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success here, and you're putting stuff in your car ready to go, and you're prepping it for the day. Now, the next thing to do is to make sure you actually don't skip out on the lunch and find something relatively healthy. So a lot of people say, oh, I eat at restaurants, like I can't really avoid it. It's kind of just something I have to do with clients, or I'm running around with my kids and I'm kind of eating their food and whatever scraps they're eating. You have to put yourself first. You know, if you do have kids, I have kids too, but I always make sure when I put food out for them and I do all their lunches, I also prep something for myself, because yes, it will come to that point in your day where you're like, I'm so hungry, I'll just eat whatever's available. And that's not really a good thing either, right? So you want to make sure that the healthy fats are in there, and you get at least some vegetables. So if you go to a restaurant, I would always pick out something that is vegetable based, or say if it's like a dinner, like you're gonna go have like a steak and potato kind of thing, I would opt out for the carbs, like the potatoes, rice, pastas, and I would ask for like double veg or double salads, or find out if they have like a broth soup, not a cream based soup, and that would really help you as well, kind of on your weight loss as well. So throughout your day as well, you should be drinking a good amount of water and tea, just to make sure that you're staying hydrated, because another factor is of why people tend to binge eat later in the evening is that they haven't had enough water throughout the day. And in your body, hunger is hunger. If you're not having water, then your body can still say, hey, like I'm really thirsty here, but it's gonna kind of signal to you as hunger instead. So usually what I advise is have a drink of water first, or herbal tea, and see how your body reacts. If you're still hungry after, then it was actually true hunger. But if you're having the water, having the tea, and you're like, I don't feel hungry anymore, that actually tells me that you're probably more in need of being hydrated as well. So when you do go to the restaurants, what I would also suggest is to box up half and take it home if you are doing like a lunch break, say with coworkers, things like that. And then lastly, when it comes to eating something really delicious at nighttime, I would actually say cut back a little bit more on your dinner portion and make a healthier version of the snacks that you're craving. So what I do suggest to some of my clients is, like, if you are a sweet tooth person, I would say save your fruit for the end of the day. That way you can make like a fruit salad. Or if you're somebody that actually likes the salty foods, I would say like have some pickles, have some cheese, like veggies and hummus, something that you can actually like crunch, dip on. Another good one would be like air popcorn, and you can put like dill seasoning on that. You can put a little bit of spray of like olive oil, if that's something that you really enjoy. Most people, what happens is they're carb crazy all day, and then they're carb crazy even more at nighttime. So this is like a double whammy for people. But I do suggest if you're going into the nighttime thinking, oh man, I really just want to like eat something, my family's eating all this food, you're best off just making a good healthy snack for yourself. And sometimes it actually helps you to pre-plan these as well, right? And usually what I do is, like, say if friends are coming over, or I know there's a movie night with the kids that we're having at the house, I will cut up a bunch of fruits and vegetables, have hummus out, have like lentil chips, and like the healthier versions of things like kettle chips and like the smaller bag size, because I know when I buy things, I read my ingredient list. So if I'm buying chips, they're not like the really unhealthy kinds, like they still have, you know, the olive oil or something on them instead, and lots of good seasoning as well. So, Justine here just says she's obsessed with the dill on her steak. That's awesome. And then she's saying that the hummus recipe I gave her, it's insanely good. That's awesome. Yeah. So, you know, with my clients, I'm giving them like basically homemade things that you can do for yourself, because I totally believe that you can have anything you want. You can just make it healthier. Like within the recipes that I have like homemade pizzas that you can make, and they're on like pita shells, and your kids can make them too, which is fantastic, and it gives them something to do. And things like we've got on the keto, we've got like chocolate macaroons, we've got cheesy chips, we've got like lamb bacon cheeseburgers. Like, you think you wouldn't even be able to get these things like on a plan, but they're geared in a way that's such healthy ingredients that they're really clean and they're really lean type of foods. and you know what you're eating, but you have to do these things at home. Now, if you go somewhere else, like at a restaurant, for instance, you're not going to get that same type of quality in your food because you're not making it. You don't know what they're putting in it. And a lot of people, myself included, react to the food that you're getting from, say, like a restaurant, because you don't even know. They dip a lot of this stuff in milk, in butter, in soy sauce. And then if you're somebody who has like lactose intolerance or celiac and you can't have any kind of like flour on your food, then you're eating these foods from the restaurants and then you're wondering why you're sick from like a chicken salad. And it's just the way it's cooked. And that's why also restaurant food is very addicting, and people really, they have hard time like not being able to stop with the food because they have more sugars and salts and butters and unhealthy fats basically in there as well. So I have a lot of recipe ideas if that's what you guys are craving. Like I have things geared towards like sweets that you can crave, salty foods that you can crave. I've got lots of homemade recipes. I got a lot of moms actually that are doing the program with me here, and there's a lot of like crock pot recipes, which is pretty awesome. Like, you know, chili recipes and things like that, and stews and soups, which is awesome for winter time right now when people are craving all of this like good home food. I actually got an Instapot for Christmas, so now I'm gonna have to actually find some recipes to do for that as well. I'm gonna have to experiment here in the next little while over that. So if you guys would like any of the recipes in here, then use the link in the video and let me know what you actually like, because if you give me kind of more details, I can find, I've got a lot of recipes, I can find a recipe for you that is more geared to like your cravings, which is what everybody wants, right? Like I like sweet stuff and I will never give up chocolate, but I just change it around where I have dark chocolate, and you could do like, say, dark chocolate dipped, you know, with strawberries, right? That's actually an amazing one to do. And it's really satisfying, and you feel like you're having this amazing dessert, and all you're doing is just dipping the outside of the fruit into something and the chocolate's all hard around the edge, right? Some people enjoy like cheese and their popcorn, and they're putting like their seasonings all over it. Some people like it sweet, some people like it salty. But like I said, I wouldn't white knuckle it throughout the evening, because that's when people, I find, they get to like a relaxed state. They're like, oh, I could really eat this right now and I could actually enjoy it. I would just say, like, first off the bat, make sure you have the majority of like fruits and vegetables cut up for yourself, and then have a little bit of the substance. Like if you want to make yourself a little plate of nachos, just don't make an entire pan. That's kind of the difference, right? So if any of you guys have any questions here, I'm actually just going to quickly have a look here and find out where you guys are at. Let me know. I think I saw some comments in here, but I didn't see any questions so far. Let's see. Sorry, my page is just loading here. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Justine, that's awesome that you've made the chili. Yeah, it's a really good recipe. I've used all these recipes on my kids as well, so I know that even picky eaters, like you were saying, your husband's a picky eater and loved it. So that's great, and that's what I'm saying. It's not hard food to make. It's just made in a simple way, and you know, you can just eat whatever you want, but it's in limit to sort of like having food fried or things like that. Like you're actually making either more personalized, like pan size, because I think in there I've got like an apple crumble type of thing, but it's like made for one person. So we're doing it in a lot healthier way here for you guys. Well, that's great. So I'm glad that actually worked out for you here, and that's awesome, Justine, because she did the hummus recipe. Oh, lamb burgers tomorrow. Oh, let me know how that goes. That's, oh, mwah, that stuff's amazing. Well, you guys, I don't think there's any questions here tonight. Oh, hang on a second. Which are the lowest carbs? Which are the lowest carbs in calories to eat? That would be fruits and vegetables. It depends on what you're asking for. Is that just for like evening snacks, or how varied should the calorie intake be? Confused the metabolism. Okay, so yeah, Justine, I think, okay. So when I think I was talking to you before about this one, Justine, is the varied calories. And you know, When you're on a plan, you don't want to be doing the same calories each and every day. And this is where I talk about like people who are into fitness training and stuff as well. They don't use the same calories every single day because you want to mix it up so your metabolism doesn't slow down. Now, this is why when you're on a diet and you're like, okay, I'm doing like 1,000 calories and like that's it, like that's my cap, and that's really low anyways. But when you're doing stuff like that and you're telling your body, okay, we're doing 1,000 calories, you're gonna lose weight really fast. You're gonna lose weight really, really fast, but you're gonna start to slow down and get to a plateau point, right? So when you get to this plateau point, your body's gonna be like, okay, well, you're not feeding me anymore, so I'm slowing the metabolism down because I've got no more food left, so it doesn't really know what to do, but it's when it's called refeeding. So usually fitness people do this as well, like once a week, they'll do like a refeed. Now, I would want to tell you it's more of a controlled refeed, not like, okay, like everything's crazy for the whole day, like do what you want and like ruin your entire week that you've just done. What I'm trying to say is like one day is kind of like your one meal. So you're picking like, okay, I'm just going to go wherever I want for dinner tonight and I'm going to order whatever I want to, like a dinner and maybe a drink, or a dinner and like a dessert, but you're not going to kind of free for all it for the rest of the week. Okay, so I had 117 yesterday and 1103 today, but set to do 1400 tomorrow. Yeah, it's gonna vary throughout your week, and the end of the week, you kind of just wanna have a base of like all those days, are you under like say 1500 calories or something like that? So in general, you wanna kind of have it a little bit up and down as a graph, because you could also be doing like, I've seen in the diet industry too, where you're doing like less than 1200 calories and they're basically eating nothing, and then the next day they've dropped 2 pounds, so then they get on the scale the next day and they're like, I haven't lost anything, because weight loss is not linear. It doesn't go like that. It's like a staircase, and that's just naturally how the body does it. So I think what people try and do is that it's like, oh, I didn't lose weight today, so I'm gonna push even harder. And then you're pushing your body into this state that it doesn't like. It's like, you're not feeding me, so I don't know what to do here. So I'm gonna slow metabolism down because I feel like the resources are limited. But yes, you wanna stay under like what I'm saying. Like if you're on kind of a 15 to 1600 diet or plan, you wanna stay kind of within that limit. So I would usually say, on average, you want to kind of be between like anywhere between 100 and 300 calories retrospect. Like 300 calories in a sense, like give or take, is more of like a weekend thing. So what I usually say is, a lot of people, like you've got five weekdays, right? Monday to Friday. Keep those as like a normal routine of calories. So say if you're doing 14 or 1500 calories and that's like a deficit for you, then I would say on the weekend, I would push it up probably 1700 calories. And then your body's kind of having a bit of a refeed and you're doing a lot better. So I guess my question is, that enough of a variation? 100, yeah, like I said, so that's like a couple hundred calories, Justine. So you're totally fine. I'm not weighing myself at all. Yeah, and also the weighing yourself. Yeah, okay, we talked about that in some of the membership videos. The weighing of yourself, especially for women, it's very mind-blocking. Again, what I just said, when somebody gets on the scale and they're like, oh, I've only been eating like 1200 calories, and all of a sudden you're like, hang on a minute, like I've been on this, diet or whatever for 3 days and I haven't lost anything, but you lost like 2 or 3 pounds in the beginning. So like I said, we don't look at it overall in our week. We're looking at it day to day, and it really messes people up. So only once a week, honestly, don't do it more than that, please. So Nadine says, what are things you should snack on at nighttime, or is snacking at night something to cut off? I think, Nadine, you just came into the conversation a little bit too late because I was talking about that. So I would say go back and watch the replay on this one. But yeah, I would say that I was talking more about fruits and vegetables and the snacking at nighttime. And no, I'm not saying cut snacks out at nighttime at all, because I don't want people to sit there and like white knuckle it through the evening. Like I find that actually does a disservice to people more than anything, and then it creates binge cycles. So that's all or nothing mentality. If you're really craving something, that's where the healthy recipes come into play. So I would go back and watch the replay on this as well. I do believe, I just saw another question here. I think, what are the lowest carbs in calories to eat? Bread, rice, or potatoes? Okay, Jane, on that one, bread, rice, or potatoes. It depends on the serving size. It depends on what you're actually going for. I think it's more so the way you're cooking it. Now, if you're saying bread, rice, or pasta, oh, sorry, I think you said potatoes, yeah. So if you're cooking your potatoes in like milk and butter and cheese, then yeah, they're not gonna be very healthy, versus if you had baked potato or boiled potato or things like that, that would be a lot healthier. I would say probably only half of a potato would be good. Like a big baked potato, they're massive. Like you only need half of one, honestly. When I was talking in the last video, we were talking about carbohydrates. So a potato for carbs should only sit in the palm of your hand. So a lot of these like keg potatoes, they're like twice as big, they're massive. And that's like a meal in itself, right? The rice and then the bread. So if the rice is white rice, I would say get that out, because it's, again, your simple carbohydrates that will spike your insulin levels, and your blood sugars will be off, because when you eat white rice, white bread, white pasta, without any kind of protein or healthy fat to keep your blood sugar stable, your blood sugar goes through the roof, and you don't want to be eating that on a regular basis. That's where you can run into problems like type 2 diabetes and all that stuff if you're eating it on a regular basis, like as kind of like your lifestyle. And then the bread, a lot of the time, like it depends where you're buying it. What I usually say with bread is feel how heavy the loaf is, pick the loaf up. If it's heavy, that's a good sign. It means that they're using good flour, and they've actually got substance in the bread, like there's nuts and seeds and things that is sustainable. When you think about going into like the grocery store, like you pick up, you know, I'm just gonna give an example, like Wonder Bread. You pick it up, it's light, it's so light, there's nothing in it, and it's brown. It says like brown bread on it. It's actually dyed brown, not from what you actually need it to be. So that's where a lot of like, we're having issues with the food industry, because things are marketed that, oh, they're healthy, it's brown bread or whatever, but actually it's just the white bread, but they've put some sort of molasses in it to make it brown. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Go for more of a seedy bread. I like pumpernickel bread, I think it's called. It's really, really dark. My kids eat it all the time too. I buy gluten-free bread as well, and they're doing really better. Like they're doing a lot better with like the taste in like gluten-free products as well. Not so much in the price. The prices are, you know, crazy, but they actually are really decent breads. And I find a lot of people don't have that like big punchy stomach blow after they've had gluten-free bread. So if you're having bread or wheat products and you're having this like, you know, gut distension and you're like, what the, you know, I would suggest try using some gluten-free bread and see how your body reacts. So when can I eat Chinese food on keto? Yeah, you're on keto right now. Okay, so I've leftover kung fu chicken with peppers and peanuts in a chili sauce. You wrote it quite a bit, so I'm trying to get in here. It won't let me. I can't, oh, there it is, okay. In a spicy chili sauce, not approved. Chicken and peppers and peanuts, yeah, you're fine with. I think it's more so what is in your chili sauce, because I can see the chili sauce is usually got sugar in it, and it's the sugar that will throw you out of a state of burning fat, which is ketosis, right? What we talked about. When you say Chinese food, are you, I think you said you went out and had this. I would try and challenge you on this one to make it yourself. So if you enjoy Chinese food, I would say try to make a similar version that's keto friendly for yourself if you're craving it. Because like I said, I don't want you to kind of white knuckle it and say, I can never have Chinese food, like I'm on a keto plan. I don't want you to think that way. I want you to think like, okay, I can have chicken and peppers and peanuts, but I'm gonna have a bit of a different chili sauce. So you could actually probably make a different chili sauce. I believe you could do like just chili peppers itself with, I think there's like rice vinegar, or there's like, I'm trying to think what the vinegar is, off the top of my head. But yeah, if it's been in the fridge for a while, I guess you hate to waste food. I would say if you're not gonna eat it, pass it on to somebody else who will, maybe, because I know I don't really want to even want it. Yeah, okay, so if you're telling yourself it's just in the fridge, that's a tape you're hearing in your head, probably because you've grown up maybe with like the Clean Plate Club, right? Clean Plate Club is basically like you a lot of us have this. It's like you feel guilty over leaving food behind. I'm the same way, I get it. With my boys, like they don't always eat every single meal, but what I do is if it's still like substantial leftovers, or myself, I will wrap it up and put it in the fridge for one time later. Like if they don't finish it in that plate, like I just chuck it out. But yeah, if you're not wanting it, don't force yourself to eat these things, because you're honestly gonna eat it and then just regret it. So I think that's probably not the wisest choice. But if you are craving, like I said, Justine, those Chinese foods, and it's something that you want or you miss, I would say make it keto style, make it keto friendly, and we can look into that as well. So if anybody has any more comments or questions here, thank you guys all for tuning in tonight. So I'm actually going to have a scheduled one coming out here on Wednesday into March, and we're going to talk all about your self-care. So this is all about your time is precious, so stop wasting it, because I find a lot of people don't understand how to manage their time correctly, especially around like meal prepping food, like the kids and things like that, and putting it all together. I find a lot of people are eating on the fly and wondering why, like, you know, they can't fit in their clothes anymore and things like that. And let's just change that around. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and the replay is going to be on here for you guys as well. So you're more than welcome to pass this on to friends and family who are looking for things to, you know, have healthy recipes, right? And if they're kind of struggling with eating at nighttime, you are welcome, guys. Thank you so much just for being here. This is amazing. I love tuning in and talking to you guys. All right, well, you guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.